How you doing? If you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. So I had to jack up the camera here to even fit this. This is a giant bin. I bought it because it has a Thomas the Train part taped to the top. And in a move of clearly not caring, somebody took a bin that was for sale for like $5, which they usually sell these for $5, and they just filled it with Thomas the Train parts, but left the $5 on. So we have conceivably 2 Thomas the Train sets in here. Just doing a quick look, but at $5, could not possibly miss on this. So I can't possibly unpack this on the camera. So I'm going to go piece by piece here, try to figure out what we have. So Thomas the Train sets, you can either part them out or sell them as a complete set if you happen to have them. I don't actually know what's in here. I just peeked and saw what it was, and then this part was taped to the top for some reason. So this part alone will probably pay for it. It's 2010. So if you're not sure what you got for Thomas the Train, first of all, telling it's Thomas the Train and not like a Fisher Price set that's a knockoff. Goulet is owns the property basically, and they will allow other companies to make Thomas the Train toys. It's kind of like Dr. Pepper, how sometimes it's a Coke product, sometimes it's a Pepsi product. Technically, Dr. Pepper's owned by Snapple, but they don't have the resources to bottle it and produce it at this point, so they just give the recipe or rights to somebody. Same thing with Goulet. For whatever reason, they don't make toys. They let other people make Thomas toys. So, if you're not sure what you got, as far as when you know it's Thomas, there is going to be a number, and this number is V6441, which we can then look online, but I just punched into eBay, and this set is called Snowstorm Adventure, and that's the part right there. So somebody's trying to get $20 for it. It has a tree on it. I don't know what's what yet, so we're not pricing or listing anything. So we know this is an overpass, which makes sense. There is a tunnel and a tunnel out, and then track over. It's like some kind of mechanism here that tips, but it won't work without that tree. It looks like it might tip the train over, or it might be a stop. Not entirely sure, but so we know if we punch in Snowstorm Adventure Thomas, we got 26, and this looks like the whole set here. This is a simple one then. Toys R Us exclusive. So we have one thing, has a tree, some basic track, and then it's going to be this piece here. And you can see, we talked about this before, when you see 11 watchers, 26 watchers, you know you will sell this if you list it for less than the price they're staring at, which is $85. So let's hope we have this whole thing. But let's dig into some other parts here and see what we actually have, and we can, I can't stack everything up on the desks, go along, move stuff around and look at it, piece by piece. Popped it open, and this is going to be a low-key banger for something that I saw that I have sold in the past for good money, several times in fact. But I was talking about knockoff train stuff. This is not Thomas the Train, in fact. This is Tomy 2005 train set. I don't know anything about these. Thomas is the standard for non-legitimate train sets. Lionel is the train collector train set. This is just some kind of thing. It's manual go auto. I don't know what this does. And it doesn't take batteries, so I have no idea. It does have a number on it. We're just going to punch in Tomy train 2005 and see what comes up. So 370. So this is, again, this company will outsource to people. Goulet, who owns Thomas and Friends, so Tomy Trackmaster. That was from 2005, so this actually might be a Thomas thing, but it doesn't say that anywhere. So we'll see what comes up. We'll scroll through, see if we find this piece. This is fairly big. The track doesn't really match much anything, though. Usually the track is universal. Oh, here we go. Tomy Thomas Sodor engine car wash. Okay. Oh, sorry. It was obscured. Let's click on it. So that's the engine car wash. That makes sense. Manual, auto. So this is Thomas, but it's just a different set. Huh. Okay. I don't understand how it works, necessarily. Clicking this changes a configuration inside the car wash. So I don't know if the engines, if you have the motorized engines, if they do different things depending on the pegs, but either way, that's something. We're gonna have to look for that. So Sodor engine wash. Tomy Sodor wash. 35 for sale. And again, 11 watchers on something going for 25, 17 for something going on 22. So that immediately tells me 20 bucks and this is out the door. Now it is a little heavy, but again, I paid $5. So we got plenty more to look at. All right, so this stuff is gross. I don't know what it is. It says Kids Craft. It is wood. There's some item numbers, and it is extremely dirty. Like, it looks like it was in a very damp basement. So I'm guessing it's not going to hold any value, and I don't even want it around me. So I'm just going to look it up real quick. Kid Craft. And we'll call it Train set. And see if we can find it. So this is the crappy wooden track stuff. It has like a crane piece here. Not seeing the exact thing we have, but just getting an idea of value. The wooden train stuff isn't that popular. 475 listings. Let's see what the sold is on it. 52. Yeah, nothing similar. That's odd. So this is it says helicopter on top, or it has a helipad. So it looks like the larger sets do move. Oh, here we go. Is that it? No, that is not it. It's a different helipad. So these are only 3 pieces in the box, so I'm thinking they're not going to go anywhere. Let's see what else we got. Alright, so I busted out what I can see of the Snow Storm Adventure pack, and it looks almost complete. So I did find the tree, which when the train goes across the track, it knocks the tree down. So it'll crash into it and it turns to let the train go back through. And kind of the same gig with this over here. You have a snow thing in here, and I don't know. You hit the button and the snow blocks the track basically, but the whole point is Thomas has a snow plow, whatever that's called, on it when it's on a train, and he can push this out of the way for everybody. So we're missing the train itself. And if I pull this up, so this person says they have the complete set, and it looks like I'm missing these risers, but I'm not entirely sure if that's just a different version or if that's I'm actually missing something. So we're gonna go to the parts list down here. We'll see what we actually got. So 2009, we don't have the train. Tunnel with tree. Station with phone pole. 2 risers. So that must be the piece on here. 3 curved risers. We have that. So I'm missing the 2 bits that go underneath. Long slope track is right here. 2 half tracks is right here. And 11 curved tracks, and I counted out 11. So we don't have the train. We don't have the those little bits. We can't say this is complete, but we can sell it and get some good money out of it because people are looking for it. So 26 of these for sale. And I don't want to part it out because these tracks don't sell that well by themselves. Now, when we talk about shipping things, we have to be careful with dimensions. So one of the things that would get you is, in fact, this track, because this track is 18 inches, and I can't do anything about that. So when I package this, I got to make sure this is as tight as possible, or else I'm going to end up spending several dollars more to ship it than I really should, and I may be able to turn it sideways in the box and maybe get it down to like 16, give myself a little room here, but obviously you can't fold it up or anything. So looking at these for sale, this guy has the train and everything, and he's going for 80 bucks. Just a different train, Icy Rail Adventure or something else. We got just this piece for 25. We got the whole thing with all the watchers, and that's complete. This is complete with train. We got just the pieces. This guy wants 60, but I don't see what he has. So it's going to move. It's just a question of, do I want to part it out or do I want to sell it like it is on my desk right now? 26 for sale. 9 sold. That's a good sell through. So $60 for more than I have here. Like I said, that many watchers, people are snapping up anything that comes up for cheaper. No train. But I don't have the risers either, and that was like, what, 45 bucks. This is also no train, and they did bids, which screwed them over. This is incomplete, no train, and no risers for just under 50. So I think I'm going to list it as we see right now for 30 plus shipping, which will get us after the what you make by not passing shipping off to the customer, which I don't do. 30 bucks. That's not bad. Before we forget about it, we didn't have any other parts for this. So we have the Tomy version of the Thomas Sodor engine car wash. We got 35 for sale with watchers. 16 sold, so that's excellent sell through. Let's see, we got 30, 21, 24, 20 flat, which I saw somebody selling it for 20 already. Thinking that's gonna be the way to go. I'm just gonna weigh it real quick. As long as it's not over like 1.5 pounds, I can probably live with that. 1.5. It's gonna have to go in a box. It would punch through an envelope, so yeah, whatever. For 20, I could do that. 20 in a box cost me. Might be about that. It'd probably actually be a bit better, but either way, easy pickup. And then finally, I got a few odds and ends in the bin after I tossed out some trash. So we got this die-cast car. This was actually made for the dealership because it's not a Hot Wheels, it's not anything. It just says Chrysler Corp on the bottom. So sometimes dealerships will just have these and they give them to kids, whatever. Not gonna have any value to it. So, give that to my kids to play with. This is a Hot Wheels 2012. I honestly stopped listing these because I sell them so infrequently. It's ultra competitive. Unless it's something really old, I don't bother at this point. I'm just whittling down what I do have for sale. Come up intentionally. This I'm really sad about. I mentioned I saw this. Something nice. So this is Cranky the Crane. However, I don't have the crane. I just have the base. I've sold this several times for good money, but I've never tried to sell just the bottom of it. It does still work. So we're going to see if there's any Thomas Wooden Cranky. See if anybody just sells the bottom. So you can see what it typically is this. I think I've even had that on video. I had one. I've had the full-size one. I've sold this one with the magnet. But yeah, they go for good money. You know, 25 bucks, I believe. The big one goes for 100. I learned some shipping lessons the first time I did that. But does anybody just sell the bottom? I could punch bottom in and see what happens. 280 of these. Bottom gets us, I don't know. The search engine doesn't always want to cooperate with stuff. Didn't really help us out. So that's the full-size Cranky. 31 inches. That can't be possible. So let me sell that for 20 bucks. Come on now. But, the other thing is, I think one of these cranks is for the string itself. So I don't know if it works. The one that spins the crane works. I haven't had one on me for a bit, so I don't recall. And it'll feel weird to throw it out, but this is the thing where if you were a full-time reseller with a lot of space, I'd 100% hang on to it in case I ran into the top. Or I ran into a full one but the bottom was beat up. I'd have a better one to swap in, but you start becoming a hoarder at that point. You need to have a considerable amount of space and time on your hands to bring in stuff that you don't even know if it's ever going to move out of here. So, I'm not seeing just a base. And if it wasn't so cumbersome, I would list it for like 10 bucks, but the shipping is going to be bad. That's the one issue with Cranky, is he's kind of hard to move around. But unfortunately, I think I'm just going to toss it. It's not going to have anything for me. So this was the only other thing. So it has a button. It says Central Station. And then just some random numbers. And Joffrey Inc. is the company. And it looks old. The writing on this is old, like an old font. It looks like it might be from the 80s. So just to see, I'm guessing it's some knick-knacky thing and it's not going to have value, but you always check. So, we got Joffrey Central Station. Let's see what pops up. Okay, vintage Joffrey Central Station Depot Works. And there's a few different models of this, different color schemes. I don't know if it's a coincidence that Thomas is in the back. So people are selling it for whatever. Let's see if anybody buys them. Then we might do a Google search real quick. Do a quick Google search while we're at it. So I didn't really put two and two together. Joffrey Inc. was Toys R Us. That was the giraffe. So this was just some set they had. It was a wooden train set, and you had this outside the track, and that made noise. But it is not desirable, apparently. I can't really find that many out. There's like 7 of them online, and nobody's buying them. So nobody's missing it. Nobody's going to bother looking for it. So this is junk, too. And we can pop it open and see what it sounded like at any rate. My kids might get entertainment now. We talk about batteries sometimes. The lid on this is actually not flush, so it makes me think there are batteries in here that exploded. Our batteries in here, and they don't want to come out, so I'm guessing they are corroded as all hell. Yeah, this ain't coming out. They're all stuck. They're all like bloated. So they've been in here for a long time. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, this is ruined. Let's see, the battery. It's all blue and brown, and the inside of it is completely wrecked. So I could fix it, but just for the sake of hearing what it sounded like, we're not going to be bothering doing that. But whatever, $5 got us $40. This bin is absolutely disgusting, so I'm going to throw it away. Usually I'd keep the bin, but it was in a basement for a long time. But yeah, good train haul. And I'm guessing that train set, the Snowy Adventure, is going to be gone within the week at any rate. So if you like reseller content, toy content, like, subscribe, comment below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.